What is up, guys? This is Everything Goes with T and K. Thank you for coming back to this podcast. We have a very, very special guest that we're excited for you guys to hear. If you follow us on Twitter and Facebook, you've seen that we are very excited for this. So stay tuned and listen up.
It's Elliott! It's picked off! It's picked off! It's Tracy Porter!
All right, guys, on the phone today, we have our very first special guest. We have Arron Evans on the phone. Arron is a left tackle that played at the University of Central Florida and went on. And you weren't drafted by the Eagles, correct? You were picked up by the Eagles.
Yeah, I was a priority free agent.
Okay. But you had an amazing college career, and then you went into the AAF. As far as college goes, you started out at right tackle, correct?
Yes, sir.
How was that going from right tackle to left tackle?
No. Oh, yeah. It was not that. The assignments are fairly similar, but there's a little more pressure at left tackle. So I don't know. I think just having that mindset, the pressure, kind of forced me to be a little bit more focused and disciplined with my techniques and my assignments. So. All in all, I think it made me a better player switching positions.
Because when you play left tackle, you're basically going up probably against the best guy on the defensive line, correct?
Correct. Usually the most athletic, best rushers, yeah.
So you think about it, when you get to the NFL, because it's going to happen, you're going to get to the NFL, you'll be going against guys like DeMarcus Lawrence. Well, hopefully you're on the Cowboys, because I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. So, but could you imagine just like if you get there, going against like guys like Mac, DeMarcus Lawrence,
Von Miller.
What would that be as far as your mindset? Like, would that just blow you away?
It's a pretty surreal experience because some of these men are freak athletes. So it's just like you really have to respect them and what they can do, because they can easily embarrass you if you're not like doing your job really, really well. But it's a pretty great experience. It's an honor to be able to play against people like that. And it really, as a competitor, it's exciting because it forces you to grow.
Now, like your weekly, like when you in college, when you go through your routine of practice or anything like that, you practice your plays and everything else. Do you actually yourself look at film of against the guy you're going to be going against and looking at the kind of moves?
I do. I watch it. We watch it in the meetings, and then on my own, I do a little player eval usually, especially if it's a more intense week as an opponent goes. Does that make sense? So, but really the biggest thing I do is focus on myself, because at the end of the day, I don't know what that defensive end is going to do. I have to react.
Yeah.
So if I'm in my technique, and I'm really disciplined in my technique and my assignments and my job, everything should work out. Like my coach, Greg Austin, in college always said, just do your job. Just do your job, and it should work out. As long as you're doing your job and you're doing it to the best of your ability, it should work out. Because I was a starter for a reason, so
absolutely
keep that in mind.
Arron, one question I always had was, as an offensive lineman, your running back's going to fumble, your quarterback might fumble. When that ball fumbles and you're digging for that ball at the bottom of the pile, is it ever crazy, fighting for that ball? There's always rumors that people will poke you in the eyes. Is anything like that ever happen?
Yeah, I've heard the rumors too. I don't normally get in there. If I'm in there, I just kind of curl up in the ball. When you're at the bottom of the pile, you're not really thinking about anything except protecting the ball. So you could get jabbed and poked, but you don't really notice it. But yeah, that stuff definitely happens.
Yeah, my uncle, he's old school. He used to tell us back in the day when people lose their helmet, he goes, guys would go as far as even biting people in the legs and stuff.
I've heard other things as well.
That's
that
crazy.
Are a little more inappropriate.
But you had a great college career. I mean, you started 37 games there.
But something like that, yeah.
And you were pretty much healthy throughout the whole process. I want to ask you, as far as the combine goes, nowadays with technology, do you feel that the combine is really important anymore? Because you see guys that go there and they'll skip out on certain drills, or they won't weigh in, or they won't do certain things. Do you think the combine's even important anymore?
Well, the combine's important because it gives these athletes, us athletes, an opportunity to have 32 job interviews in one place. That's what's really valuable about the combine is that every NFL team is going to be there. All the important people that need to see you play are going to be there. So, yeah, I think it is still really valuable because the players, beyond the athletic performance they do, they're interviewing these players, they're questioning them, they're testing them, they're seeing who they are, what they're about, So that's what's really valuable about the combine.
But as far as the drills go, we watch it. We watch a lot of it, and you see some of the drills that the offensive alignment and the defensive alignment have to do, like the shuttle and all that stuff. Some of it looks like it's like really tedious. Like, oh my God, these guys, they're running for so long. Like, most plays in the NFL don't go as long as they're running in these drills. And some of these guys actually had bad combines. To that effect, do you think that could hurt them?
Absolutely. You kind of taking a risk when you go to the combine because you are putting yourself on display for the whole world to see, and that means that reflects onto the organization that may or may not hire you. So I do think that plays a role, but I'm losing my train of thought.
No, you're fine.
What was the question again?
About the combine, about some of the drills that you guys do offensively and defensively.
Oh yeah, and also I remembered. Yeah, the players, it's testing the players' grit, because they know that they're running a lot more than they would stereotypically. So it's giving the coaches an opportunity to see what these players are made of. Because I know the workouts that I've been through, they purposely try to run you ragged as fast as possible to see how you respond when you're worn out.
Okay.
Now, for people who do skip out on the combines and just do the pro days, is it a little more comfortable to do the pro days because you're almost on your home turf, so you kind of got a feel for the place and a little more comfortable?
Absolutely. That's definitely what it is because just playing on your home field is always going to give you this vote of confidence, and then you get to see all your friends and family and your teammates there, so that's really nice. The combine there's a lot of pressure. I've heard – I didn't get invited to the combine, but I've heard that it's pretty rigorous, early mornings, late nights, just very busy for multiple days in a row. So I think the pro day is honestly a lot more beneficial for players, especially and it gives them sometimes more time to get ready.
All right, I saw this one article that was written about you as far as it was almost like a combine report on you. Do you pay attention to any of these things? Because to me, it's almost like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. I mean, the pros, they had you as a wide body college tackle who's projected to guard at the next level. You're patient in pass protection, fundamentally sound. You block with good lean, resilient, stays square, works blocks. You fight great with your hands, correctly places them. But then at the bottom, it contradicts itself. You're only effective in small areas, struggles to adjust, lack of footwork. Now, I've watched tape on you, and I'm not a scout by no means, but your first step, you're quick, and your hands are fast.
Yeah, there's some disconnect, I think, in the scouting process in the NFL, and I'm not going to go too much into that.
That's fine.
But there's definitely a disconnect in the scouting process in the NFL, and the people that need to see you don't see you until the scouts deem you worthy, I guess, this is the right word.
Yeah.
And that sometimes I think that is to the detriment of the players a lot of the time because sometimes the scouts are just pencil pushers, to be frank. And I think a coach, like the position coach, would be better suited in picking his players. But that's really all I'm going to say.
That's fine. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, you see that a lot in the NFL. I mean, Drew Brees, Tom Brady were talked pretty low. You're seeing that with Kyler Murray right now.
Listen, I'm not going to talk too much, but I think I'm a little bit of a sleeper. It's a little frustrating that I can perform well and not be deemed. I can put the game tape out there and not deem.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's frustrating for me as a player.
You're on all AAC honors. I mean, and I mean, like I said, I saw stats today, and I saw how you played when you played on in the AAF. Your footwork is amazing. You're fast. I mean, you're on the left tackle side, and you're just quick. And I'm like, man, really? What this guy wrote? I mean, I don't see it.
Tell him.
yeah. I don't think he follows us. but I'm serious.
We'll see if we can do something about that.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm not just saying this because you're on the air with us.
Yeah, we've seen the videos. You look great.
You look great, and you play the part well. And you're not one of those guys that you finish your block and that's it. You're moving downfield, and it's good hustle all the way around.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Now I got to ask you. You know, if I'm not mistaken, you're from the Florida area, right?
Yes, sure. Tampa, Florida.
So playing at UCF, that's got to be awesome playing in front of that crowd because your family can come, your friends can come, and that crowd it had to be a humbling feeling to play there.
Yeah, some of our big games were truly surreal experiences. I remember sitting there like kind of misty-eyed my senior year, a lot of the games, just watching everything because I remember when I signed up my freshman year, it was like this intense experience, and I was like, oh no, what did I get myself into? But then as you get broken and you grow over years and years, you really grow to appreciate the body of work you put together, and it's just it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I say this to him all the time. It would be absolutely amazing to play in front of a crowd like that, especially in a key important game. That has to be an amazing feeling, just having the crowd behind your back, you know, in that fourth quarter drive or just a big drive in general. No,
yeah, it's definitely exhilarating. But in the game, when you're in the field, I don't know. You get a little tunnel vision sometimes, but I'm usually pretty good about you ask my teammates, I'm pretty crazy on the field. So,
well, I tell you
I'm
what.
Goofy. I'm thinking, I'm singing songs. I'm singing the songs they're playing on the radio, over the speakers at the game. I'm telling jokes to the D linemen to psych them out, like tacky jokes, like terrible jokes, but they get so frustrated. They're like, what is this guy talking about?
Was there anybody in college that you didn't look forward to going against?
No, not really.
Good answer. All right, so as far as the AAF goes, how did you get involved with that? Did you have tryouts for that, or did you get a phone call?
No, actually, they just signed me on the spot. They didn't have me come in for workouts or anything, so I was blessed in that regard.
You had one of the best coaches in college football.
Spurrier?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he was a good coach, man. It was an honor to witness a legend work. He was definitely a very different coach than I've ever experienced, but it was in a good way, very positive. I grew a lot under his coaching, and it was a pity to see it end early.
Yeah.
Well, how is he in the locker room? Is he a fireball?
A little bit. I think he's just what you see on the radio, what you see in general is pretty much what you would get in the locker room. So he's tried and true. He's himself all the time.
Now, how was that? You know, getting your second chance in the AAF and just knowing you have a second opportunity to get back at your dream.
It was great. It was really nice to see that I could earn something financially for this body of work I put, the amount of hours and years I put towards this goal. And also just being able to put some good tape out there to show the NFL that I can still play and I can still produce, you know, and play at left tackle. But I put up 8 games of good tape, so we'll see what they think.
Yeah, we're rooting for you, man. You played with some good players. You played with Gilbert, your quarterback, who just got picked up by the Browns. He was outstanding in the AAF.
Yeah, he was great. He's a great quarterback. He should definitely be in the NFL.
Well, it must have been cool, though, because you got to play in the stadium where you played college ball, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty weird experience. I'm not going to lie. Walking through the tunnel was pretty weird, bizarre, not being a Knight anymore, just being an Apollo.
And you had a couple UCF players on the team.
That was a great experience because, like, I always looked up to them. They were seniors, Jordan McCray, Speedo, and Chris Martin. They were all, like, seniors when I was a freshman coming into UCF. So it was really – I always wanted to play next to them, and it was great to be able to have that experience.
Now, how was the atmosphere of the AAF compared to your college atmosphere? Was it almost –
well, they were saying some, like, was it San Antonio? They were getting like 30,000 fans a game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, San Antonio's games felt like real games. Our games were hit or miss. They felt pretty, like, real. But, yeah, the turnouts weren't as good as college. But I think it's just because it was a startup league and there's so much newness and novelty to it, you know.
Now when you guys all signed, was there, like, was it a set contract for a certain amount of years, or was it just a 1-year deal?
Yeah, I signed a 200. Every player in the AAF signed a 3-year deal for $250,000, divided over 3 years, incrementally increasing each year. So like 70, 80, 90.
Now, did you feel confident coming in this league, or did you kind of have your worries about this league?
Because it was a new league.
Yeah, I was pretty. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you feel confident when you came into the AAF? Like, did you have any like kind of shadiness to it that it might not last since it was a new upcoming league?
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of uncertainty with it involved around it. So I don't know. I think my step up on some of my peers was I wasn't really expecting a lot. I just knew that I had an opportunity to put some good tape on and practice against some really good competition and improve. And that's really what my mindset every day at practice was. It's just to slowly improve.
Yeah, that's awesome. We've talked about this league a lot on our podcast and said how it's awesome, and we would love this league to continue because it gives people like you a second chance to live that dream. And it's an awesome opportunity. It's sad to see it go, but it was an awesome opportunity for a lot of people.
Well, I really hope the XFL learns from what they messed up.
Well, Vince McMahon, he already has $500 million invested in it for like a 3 or 4 year deal.
Then this should be okay.
Yeah. I think the whole problem with the AAF, and if I'm wrong, let me know.
Funding.
I think he wanted to be more of a minor league affiliate for the NFL, and when the Players Association said, no, we don't want nothing to do with that, that's when he kind of pulled his money and said, no, then this is done.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I think the NFL needs some compliment like that, but
yeah, I think guys that make the practice squad, I think they should be allowed to go play in a league. I think it'd be good for them.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. There's so many really talented athletes that just get underutilized. I mean, how many people are in the NFL? Like 1,000 or whatever it is? I don't even know how many people, but it's not that many. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so many athletes that just go by the wayside, and they never get another chance to prove. This huge. Think about it. Think about. I started playing football when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
So 13. I'm 24. 17 years, and for all of it just be pushed aside so easily, it's frustrating for players.
Now, when you were with the Eagles, and when you come in there, they already know basically who their starters are, correct?
Correct.
So how much time do you actually get doing plays with the starters and stuff like that? Are you on the second squad?
Oh man, I was third string with the Eagles.
Okay.
They were stacked, man. They had 10 starters basically already, and then they brought in the new guys.
But do you get the same amount of playing time, and do you have the same amount of coaches watching?
That's one of the frustrating parts about going in as a free agent, is that you get maybe 3 or 4 reps of practice.
And that's why it's sad to see the league like the AAF fall, because you don't get people opportunities like that.
Exactly, because they'll ding players for not improving quick enough and not developing fast enough, and they're not getting the reps that they need to improve quick enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've been there for 5 weeks, but they've only had 20 live reps. So there's not enough. There's not enough reps for these players. So yeah, I completely agree. The AAF, the XFL would be great environments to cultivate these players.
Yeah, you look at every other sport. Baseball has a minor league system. Basketball has a minor league system. Why can't football?
The XFL is talking about bringing back football to the way it used to be. And I don't know if you guys remember when the XFL first came out. I don't remember how old you guys were, but it was crazy. Their coin flip was placing the ball at the 50-yard line, and one player from each team runs full speed and see who gets the ball.
That's crazy.
So I'm not doing that.
No.
Actually, no, I might do that.
No, let me ask you this, because you're going to get to the NFL.
As long as there's workers' comp.
Yeah. How do you feel about as far as you hear people complaining about, oh my God, these athletes make too much money. How do you feel about the way the money is going now towards these contracts with the guys signing the big contracts that they're signing? It's a player, they should get what they want, but how does that affect players like you?
It's a business, so money's coming in, then the players get paid. So the AAF is a perfect example of that. It's just revenue in, revenue out. You know, see what I'm saying? Like, that's all it is. Like, people complain about it, but it's literally the NFL is bringing in so much money. Sports bring in so much money, and that's why these players are able to sign these big contracts, because they're bringing in that much value to these organizations.
Now, let me ask you this. You know, like the defensive line, they always get all the fame and the glory. I think the offensive line, they should be making the big bucks.
Absolutely.
Because you guys are workhorses.
I agree, but our position is so nuanced that people don't really understand what we do. They don't understand how technical what we do is, how physically demanding it is. We're literally backpedaling from some of the most athletic, biggest players on the field, and we have to stop them full speed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys are constantly, every single snap on offense, you're blocking. They're a great defensive tackle. You guys don't get as much glory as you should.
It's a car wreck every snap.
Yeah, I would agree completely. Trust me.
And
I've had my pity party a few years ago.
And it was really cool actually that we asked you that question, because we actually finally get a player's point of view on the money business part of the NFL. Because we always sit here and talk about that, so it's cool to get your view.
I'm not a stereotypical player who understands. Who I understand business, and like, when money's coming in, that's what they're like. Well, why does our military personnel get paid more when they're serving our country? And I completely agree that I wish these military personnel could get paid more, but it's simply a numbers game in business. That's all it is, and that's the sad truth.
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day, so it's actually a great point.
But yeah, and something that I really wish the NFL would figure out with the NFLPA is more guaranteed money in our contracts, because a lot of these men are risking their lives. They're putting everything they have into this game, and they're signing contracts, but they're not getting any of it guaranteed. So, like, they have nothing to show for it after a couple of weeks, and we're getting taxed crazy. Like, it's crazy, 40% sometimes.
Now, I want to ask you a two-part question, and if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. The one is, do you think the NFL, they should have, like baseball, no salary cap, where they could spend as much as they want, or do you think that'll just make the NFL lopsided? And two, do you think that all of these rules that are coming in place are because of the past, the players who have been suing the NFL over injuries? And do you think, since people are trying to sue that have played in the past, that players should have to sign a waiver that they're playing at their own risk?
Well, the thing is, we do sign a waiver.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, see?
Yeah, we didn't know that stuff.
Well, I sign a waiver every year acknowledging the risk that I could die playing this game, or I could have seriously bodily harm. It's basically I'm signing up for a car accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm signing up for. Like, I understand what I personally know, and it pisses me off that players are suing. It's because they're money hungry.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get their paycheck. They're like, "Oh, the NFL screwed me over." I'm like, "No, you signed up to play this game. Own up to your actions."
Do you think that's why the NFL is becoming
I'm
water?
Have lifelong repercussions from playing this game. I already know that. I've accepted that, and I know the risk that I'm taking by playing this game. I could snap my neck. I could break my ankle. I could get hurt. Seriously, I've had back surgery already. I'm 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, we sign up for this.
Do you think that's why the rules are becoming the way they are, and the league's becoming almost like two-hand touch? Like, you can't touch the quarterback. You can't even sack the quarterback a certain way anymore.
I don't agree with it, because football, my mindset of football is grit.
Yeah.
It's hard hits. It's
exactly.
It's will against will, man against man. I don't like the obviousness of protecting players, but the agenda of keeping quarterbacks up and alive. And I get it, because it's a money thing. I get it. I really do. I understand it, but I think it's really detracting from the NFL. And I think it's you can see it in the viewers dropping. People complain about it. I hear all the time complain about it. Like, the game is turning soft.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you guys sign a paper, like, you should be able to play as hard as you want without so many rules as far as tackling and blocking.
I don't agree with cheap hits. Like, I believe in sportsmanship. I believe in all that. But again, some of these big hits, the refs are just throwing the flag because it's a big hit, not because it's dirty or unclean. They're just throwing the flag because it is so blatantly obvious. The hit is completely clean, all shoulder, and they'll throw the flag. But because it's big, because it's like a huge collision, they throw the flag, and that's wrong.
Okay, since we're talking about hits, I got to bring this up because my son's a Saints fan. What did you think about the Saints hit that happened in the playoffs?
Just remember, though, if you say the wrong answer here, this phone call might end real quick.
Wait a second. The one he whiffed?
No, the one would just passed where they didn't call the pass interference.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Come on, man. We all know that was pass interference.
That's part of the game. I don't know what to say.
No, we talked about the one podcast. Like, I clearly think it was pass interference, but I still don't think. Oh, we can ask you this because they want to review penalties, and we said that it should just be a sports game. They really shouldn't. But do you think that certain plays should be reviewed like that, like certain penalties?
Absolutely. Well, here's an example that comes to mind is the game that we lost in the AAF. We had the ball. We were running down the field, marching the ball down the field. There was 20 seconds left on the clock or something. And we had 8 seconds left on the clock, and we spiked the ball. And they called offsides on us, but their D lineman hit our offensive guard when he was trying to rush back to the other side of the ball, and he knocked him off sides. And they called it on us, and we lost the game because of that, because of the penalty runoff or whatever it was. And if that play would have been reviewed, we should have had 2 more plays at the 2-yard line.
Yeah.
And that's a game. That's a change. That's completely changing the outcome of the game. You know what I'm saying? That could potentially change the outcome of the game. So that I do agree to some degree that there should be reviews.
Well, what? In the AAF, don't they have an official up in the box where they can buzz down and they can actually say, hey, there was a penalty, or no, there wasn't a penalty?
Yeah, they can. They have a secondary review system in the AAF, but the AAF doesn't exist anymore.
So why doesn't the NFL do that? I mean,
that was a great one.
Other than the fact that they don't want to pay another official, I mean, why not have someone up in the booth instead of calling New York all the time to review a penalty or a play?
Because these games are already probably 4 hours long, and it's probably something that simple. Honestly, it's literally money.
Yeah,
just follow the money. But gentlemen, I need to go.
All right.
Yeah, so we were actually just saying.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say thank you very much for doing this with us, and we wish you the best.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And if you do sign with somebody, don't hesitate to give us a little buzz, and we'll talk about it.
It's been an honor, man.
Yeah, for sure. Hit me up if something else comes up down the road.
Yeah, absolutely,
if
man.
I make it.
Yeah, we're rooting for you. We appreciate you coming on, just giving us 20 minutes. It's all we really wanted. We hope the best for you, man.
Yeah, you too. I hope your podcast grows and flourishes.
Hey,
thank you, man.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah, don't forget.
Hey, Arron, have a great night, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, have a good night.
All right, bye.
That was a crazy experience.
It was actually cool talking to someone who played in the NFL for a little bit and got to play in the AAF and talked about everything from college on up.
It's just mind-blowing to, finally, it's cool to have someone's view of that. He played in the AAF. He got a little bit of the NFL experience, college experience, so we got to see his view inside of that. So it's cool when we ask these questions that we're constantly asking our guests, and now we actually get a good source.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm hoping, like he said, before he came on the air, he actually said that his agent has been talking to him, and there are options out there as far as possibly Canada, and a few NFL teams are looking at him. And I got to tell you, I watched some videos on him, and he is legit. He is a good left tackle.
He's a good offensive lineman. He deserves to be in the NFL.
Absolutely. And I wish him the best and hope that he has many years in the NFL.
If you're listening to this, we truly do thank you for coming on. It's a huge, awesome experience for us.
All right, welcome back, guys. Last night was an amazing night. We got to do something that we've been hoping to do, and we actually got to talk to someone who played in the NFL and knows his way around the football field. And with his experiences, we got a lot of mind-blowing information from him.
It was just cool because we have our guest on once in a while who, our guests aren't professional athletes or have had experience in a league before. So it's cool to see his viewpoint and to get answers from questions that we always have.
And it was interesting because, all the things that we've talked about, it came to fruition. We actually got to hear from him who's actually been involved with it. And in the end, football is what it is. All sports are. It's a business. And, basically it's a money grab. Get as much as you can because you don't know how long you're going to be in it. And that was a perfect example last night of a guy who has amazing talent who is still trying to claw his way into the NFL.
One thing that I probably learned from that interview is scouts really don't know it all. You see that all the time in NFL, baseball. I mean, people talk bad about Derek Jeter in the scout reporting, Tom Brady. Kyler Murray is getting trashed right now by the scouts.
Well, it's one person's opinion. And
exactly.
My thing is, I wonder if some of these scouts even played the game. They're sitting down there with a notebook and a pad and paper and just writing down things. To actually have done it and know the techniques to the game. I mean, I'm not a scout, and the first thing I saw was Arron has quick feet. I mean, when they snapped that ball, his first step back was so fast, and he was in the defender's face.
And in some of those videos I watched, like the hits he put on some of those defenders, and he just keeps going. He doesn't just stop. But it's crazy because a lot of people who are supreme athletes nowadays, a lot of their scouting reports were really bad.
Yeah, and it stinks for players like them because there are a lot of players. Let's face it, there are a lot of players that don't get to the next level, and it's not because of lack of talent. It's because of the schools where they went, or the interest. Is there interest there at those schools? And you figure with today's technology and all the cameras in the world, that everyone has a phone with a camera, it should be easier to get the information on these guys, and that's why I don't think the combine really. I mean, sure, it's important, like you said, you get an interview with each team, but with the pro days and all the cameras around here, it's really like you don't need the combine.
And one thing that really sucks nowadays too is if you don't go to a big college, it's harder for you to get looked at. So you don't get that great evaluation as some of the people who go to a huge D1 university. Like luckily, Arron, who was on with us, he got to go to UCF, which it's a big school. It's a big school, so he got some looks. But for people who don't get to go to the bigger schools, you really have to get your name out there by. Whether if you're at a small school, you need to go to tournaments, you need to go to showcases to have more than one scout just look at you if you want to get a good report. But it's hard nowadays. It costs money.
Well, I've been sending out tweets today about him to different organizations. 105.3 to fans, one of them, because they're affiliated with Dallas, the Cowboys, and they have a lot of the owners and stuff on there. And, maybe by the luck of it, his name gets out there. Someone just happens to click on some film, and who knows,
We're currently in contact with somebody from another NFL team that we're not going to tell you yet.
Not going to mention it, but he's an active player on the defense.
It's on the down low right now, but if we can have him on too, it's just another step up the ladder for us, and it's mind-blowing.
Well, possibly two. And the second one's
an if.
Second one's an if, but it's a big if. And if we get him on, oh, my God, I'm going to be in my Cowboy glory.
That gave a big hint there, but... It's fun to have people on the podcast and one of the things that we said right away when we had him before we started recording is this is not a serious strict interview. Like, we are laid back, and we don't want you to come on here and feel scared. Like, it's just gonna be chill. Like, we're gonna relax, talk about sports, just like we're sitting on the couch talking sports.
And we said to him, look, is there anything that you don't want us to talk about? And he was open. He said no. He's like, I'll talk about anything. And we're not here to bash anybody or belittle anybody. And it's more educational for us because we got to look into what it's like to be a part of the NFL, the ups and the downs of that roller coaster, getting to that final dream. And he's still on that ride, but I'm telling you, I have a feeling he's going to make it big.
Yeah, and people really don't get that second chance. I mean, look how many people are still free agents in MLB.
The thing that's sad is with that whole AAF is, some of those players, if you read about the stories, there was no warning. I mean, they literally, like the one team came back to the hotel room and all their belongings were in the lobby. Some guys had no way to get home.
No, and living the paycheck to paycheck. You got to buy your own flight back now.
Yeah, and there's guys that have injuries that need rehab, and who's going to pay their bills? It's a crazy that as much as it's a business, I'm surprised you don't see class action lawsuits against the owner and stuff because it's a contract.
And what was cool is he said that they signed a 3-year contract. So, and like what I said in the podcast 2 podcasts ago is, what if these guys moved to their home stadium? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just picked up and moved, and you were banking on this working out. And now you're on the verge of losing your house because you're not making that money now.
I think a lot of them were smart, though. I don't think a lot of them bought houses. I mean, from what I read in articles, a lot of them were living in Airbnbs, living in hotels and stuff like that. So that's smart, but the XFL, I think it's going to be better because I think Vince is a better businessman. And like I said to Aaron last night, according to all the reports, Vince McMahon, he has $500 million already invested for at least 3 years with no buyouts or anything like that. So it should be successful. And if they play their cards right, it will work. It will work. And I think it's good for the NFL if the NFL would get on board with it because there's a lot of guys that are just wasting away sitting on the bench or being on the practice squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Vince McMahon has the right business. He's a businessman, has enough money to easily do at least 2 seasons.
We actually had another guy lined up too. We were looking, and he was from the AAF, Winston Craig, and we're still gnawing at the bit and trying to get him on. He was just signed yesterday by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we reached out to him, and he said he's busy right now, but he definitely wants to get on. So we'll keep gnawing at it, see what happens. If it happens, it happens. I mean, these guys have a tough schedule, and I'm sure yesterday was a whirlwind event for him. And we'll keep going.
Yeah, you get busy when you sign with a new team.
And that's not our other NFL player, by the way.
No.
Things are just going, man. They're really taking off.
Things are going the right direction, man. We're getting some good hookups. I can't be any more grateful.
Well, yesterday the Yankees blew another one. Starting pitching's not bad. They're hitting a little bit, but they blew 2 games against Houston. The bullpen's not doing their job. We still have a lot of injuries. Boston.
I wouldn't even say it's the bullpen. I would say they're playing very well. It's just stupid mistakes that they make in key situations.
Oh, the bullpen did blow it yesterday.
But I'm glad Frazier is killing it with DJ. And you know, Rudy's probably gonna get a laugh at this one. But Gary Sanchez, man, is tearing it up.
He is.
He's tearing it up, and I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for him.
You had another big night last night.
The other game,
Frazier looked absolutely horrible in the outfield last night. He
gave it his effort to die for that ball.
Well, I don't know. I don't. Think
I wouldn't call that terrible.
I don't think the second one he had to dive for, and then he punched the ground. And
I heard about that. I didn't see that one, but I heard that he took his frustration on the ground, so he wasn't quick about getting up. He didn't look
like a professional at all there, but I don't think he had to dive for that one. But
Matt Carpenter though just got a 2-year extension, about $39 million, which the St. Louis Cardinals aren't looking too bad, and they need to secure some of these key pieces. He's definitely a veteran. He's getting up there in age, but he's still a key factor in that lineup. Can hit very well.
I'm just surprised at what's going on. I mean, the Phillies, and I called it as far as the Phillies go, they're playing great, but their bullpen blew it again yesterday. And what is up with Nola? I mean, he is not pitching up to par like he was earlier. And then we got to talk about Chris Sale. Boston is 3-9, and they got booed off the field yesterday after they got their World Series rings. Chris Sale is, I don't know what's going on with him. There's no velocity in his pitches. He's only hitting 89 on the gun, and he's allowed already, I think they said 6 home runs already, and only allowed 11 total last year.
I really don't understand what's going on in Boston. Like, I know it's early, but a lot of these teams are starting to get hot. Like, the Astros are starting to win, but they have all their key pieces. They signed a lot of their players to max contracts, but they're not winning. Dustin Pedroia is back. They re-signed Xander Bogaerts. Mookie Betts is on the deal.
Well, let's put it like this. Tampa Bay already has a 4-game lead over second place.
Dude, and we said on this podcast that we need to watch out for Tampa Bay because Boston's not going to do well this year. The Orioles aren't going to be good, and Toronto's not going to be good.
But there is a sleeper out there, and if you rewind the tape, I called the sleeper, and everyone's like, no. Detroit is in first place at 8-4.
That's not that good. Minnesota's right behind them, 6-3, which I called will win that division.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, Seattle, whoever thought Seattle would be the best team in baseball right now?
Dude, Seattle is killing it. And there's a lot of trade rumors for Seattle right now saying that they should pick up some, key players right now because they're 11-2. 11-2 is insane. One player that I saw the other day that is, it was mind-blowing to me is Freddie Galvis. They were saying how Freddie Galvis is one of the better batters right now on the Blue Jays that, how they say, when you watch someone take a BP, that's really nothing until, that one guy hits the ball, and you're like, that's the guy. They're saying that he has been so well hitting this year. Freddie Galvis is typically just a gold glove infielder. He'll get on base a few times. But he's batting .333 this year with 3 home runs already, 1 stolen base, and 8 RBIs. I mean, his average is 247. He's killing it this year. And I know the Blue Jays aren't doing too good, but they got a lot of prospects. But
Well, I'll tell you what, we both called it the National League East. It's really starting to heat up. I mean, the Phillies are sitting there at 7-3, but Atlanta, the Mets are still there, but they're drifting a little bit.
Mets are starting to drift, yeah.
And Washington, they're starting to heat up. I mean, it's 2 games all the way down to fourth place. And the Marlins are only 4.5 out, which we're not expecting much out of
the
them.
Marlins are more of just a prospect team. Their stadium looks absolutely amazing because they got rid of that fish statue in the back and repainted the orange all blue.
Yeah.
But I see the Marlins having a really just slow year. But Christian Yelich, dude, is still killing it. You know who's killing it? Cody Bellinger.
You know what's funny? We're 2 weeks into the season, and we already had our bench clearing brawl already.
Yeah, we did.
Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And let's face it, they were trying to hit him on purpose. He hit that home run, and was it Dietrich? He hit the home run?
Yeah.
And he just stood there and watched it. And when he crossed home plate, Cervelli had nothing but nice things to say to him. And you knew it was going to happen.
And Yasiel Puig came out fired up.
Yeah.
He's always ready to go out there. It's early. It's funny. But they said that, Pittsburgh and the Reds, they typically had the best brawls in the history. But
well, Rudy has to be happy because Gary Sanchez is second in home runs with 6.
yeah, I mean,
how about Mike Trout? He is on a tear lately. Ever since the Texas series, he's batting .406.
Dude,
on a tear.
Cody Bellinger, dude, he's batting .440 with 7 home runs already this year.
Yeah, it's
He's
crazy.
Tearing it up
And
for
Rendon's
Dodgers.
up there for Washington. He's batting .421. Freeman's up there .400.
I watched
Ramos.
I watched the Cubs game the other day, and Chris Bryant, who's coming back this year because last year he played, but he had that arm problem because he slid into first base, but he's struggling. Anthony Rizzo struggling. Javier, that team just does not look normal. And it's crazy how some of these teams are just drifting away like that. I mean, the Colorado Rockies only 3-9, and me and you said that they were going to dominate that division.
Yeah.
But it's the Padres and the Dodgers.
And I'm surprised with that. I really am. I'm really surprised with that. But the Yankees got more bad news. Severino is going to be out longer. And
I saw that.
people are already saying that we should get Dallas Keuchel, and I don't agree with that.
He's in contact with the Mets, but I would take it. But
I
the only problem with Dallas Keuchel is we would have way too many lefties as a starting
Absolutely,
rotation.
and that was where I was going with that. I don't think it's a good fit. I mean, if anything, go after Bumgarner maybe.
But he's another lefty.
I know, but he's younger.
We have a lot of young guys, though, who are pitching. Herman's pitching amazing. He was
yeah.
doing no-hitter. Sessa's pitching great out of the bullpen. Britton is the one that's struggling because Ohtani is pitching amazing out of the bullpen.
Britton struggled 2 nights ago. Last night it was Green. We gave away 2 games last night. 2 opportunities to steal games from Houston, which would be awesome. And then we let them slip away. But it is a long season, but I'm telling you, the Yankees, they need to get reinforcements. I know Stanton's getting ready to take some swings. Hicks is taking some swings. Ellsbury, I don't know what the heck he's doing.
Honestly, though,
and Duhart, he's supposed to start throwing to see how his shoulder's going to handle it.
Who's going to start in the outfield, though? Frazier's tearing it up.
I don't know.
Frazier is tearing up. You're going to have someone
DHing.
DHing.
Frazier defensively for some
No?
reason. I just don't.
Dude, listen.
He looks
okay,
lost out there. I'd rather have that other guy out there.
So he dives and misses a ball. Listen, he gave it his all.
Yeah,
but he is killing it out there.
But I understand that. But that's one of the downsides about him, his defense, and it's been talked about for a while. Okay, he's not a Gold Glover.
Obviously, he's in the minors. He's not going to get a Gold Glove.
No, I'm just saying he's not even a Gold Glove talent. I don't think he looks lost out there.
He's young, man. He's young. He doesn't get a lot of playing time up there.
Well, I'd rather put Tyler Wade out there.
No, you're going to get a lot of heat for that one. Let me tell you.
No, I mean defensively, I'm not talking about let Frazier be a DH when Sanchez
I like
is
him out
batting.
there, man. He can really cover some ground out there.
I don't know. I don't. I'd rather maybe put him in center field. So all he has to do is run straight forward.
But same with Andujar coming back. He ain't playing third.
No.
DJ LeMahieu's tearing it up because when Didi comes back, he's playing.
Yeah, but they're saying Didi might not be back till June, the end of June.
I like Andujar, but DJ's tearing it up.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going to go on with Tulowitzki.
I feel bad for the guy.
I think you just got to cut those strings. You got to either make a trade, cut those strings, but you got to get healthier. And when your backups aren't healthy, we're really in a hole. We really are. We can't afford to lose anybody else.
One thing I saw was that Boston had the ring ceremony the other day, which the rings looked amazing, but Craig Kimbrell didn't go. He had a long talk with the owner and the president, and basically said that he appreciated the invite, but he's not coming. Which is a little crazy. Like, I understand you didn't reach agreement with your former team, and it might be awkward going, but dude, man, like, you won the World Series with that team. That's like when kids in high school were like, yeah, I'm not going to go to graduation because they're going to mail it in the mail. That's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing, man. You got to go.
I'm trying to find Frazier's stats to
Here we
back
go.
me up, but I can't find anything right now. I'm having trouble with my computer again.
Dude, he's a great young player.
He's a great hitter.
No,
he's a great hitter.
He's got a great arm, and he's young. Okay, it's going to take him time to adjust to all the new ballparks, distance to the walls.
Well, he can adjust during batting practice because I would not put him on the field. Those 2 errors cost the game yesterday. And then he wants to sit there and pound the ground like a baby instead of getting up and getting the ball.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think more he was diving to get on Sports Center for the highlights instead of.
He's trying to give it his all for his team. Okay, let's move on from the Yankees. Okay, I'm done. I don't want to get heated here. This isn't a heated show. But we said the Nationals were going to have a good run in that division, and Soto, who we talked about, hit a bomb last night against the Phillies. It was a bomb.
And I was talking about this to Hunter yesterday. Actually today driving home. Why don't they have cameras on top of the foul balls? A camera with a wide lens that they can see, because that ball was close. And
no, but they
reviewed it.
They say the cameras at the ballpark they said this on TV. When you watch the ball from home, it's like an illusion. It looks foul, but if you're on the field, it's not that bad.
I understand that, but when the ball is higher than the foul pole and it looks like it's hooked, man, that's where a camera would come in. They have cameras on the end zone post for in the end zones. In those pylons, and they have one on top of the field goal post. Why can't they put it on top of a foul pole? Have it zoom so you can see it. If it's to the left of it, it's foul. If it's to the right of it, depending on what side of the field you're on.
I don't know. I don't make the cameras.
I think it'd make it a lot easier. The NBA is getting ready to kick off tonight with their finales of their games, and getting ready to kick off for the playoff. The playoffs. The playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs.
Man, I have a lot of concerns about the Sixers. I really do, and
they're losing games they should be winning. But
yeah.
I think that the playoffs is going to be different because you're going to be at home probably, and you're going to have that playoff atmosphere.
There's just no chemistry with that team. With all the talent there,
I know.
There's no chemistry, and it's sad because I think this is their only run because the way they're talking. There's a good chance that Butler walks, and there's a good chance Tobias Harris walks.
I don't see that.
I don't either because I know the Sixers are going to come out and they're going to offer one of them an amazing
I think
deal.
Harris will stay because Boban's there. But if anyone's going to walk, it's going to be Butler.
I was reading on Bleacher Report today, and they project both of them to leave. They have Tobias going to the Brooklyn Nets with a max deal.
Wow.
And they have the Knicks taking Butler, which would be good for him. It's a rebuilding team.
That'd be good for the
be
Brooklyn
the
Nets,
there.
too. Be good for the Nets. I don't want to see that happen.
Could you imagine if we lost both those guys who we invested a lot into?
We wouldn't be a rebuild, but we wouldn't be as good.
The process would be done.
The process wouldn't
buried,
be burned,
gone.
Whoa.
Starting all over again.
Whoa. We're not going to start over.
You have to.
We still have Simmons and Embiid, and we still have J.J. Redick we can re-sign.
And what are you going to do if 2 years Simmons bolts and goes to L.A. with LeBron?
Oh, then screw him. I'm just...
Edit that.
I'm not going to edit that. If he's listening, if he's going to screw our team over like that after he's been with us for so long, I just think that's not loyalty.
I just think that it doesn't look good for the Sixers. There's no bench scoring. There's nobody that you can call to come off that bench is going to give you 10 to 15 points a night. You're not sure who's going to do it.
I'll agree with that. I know Zahari Smith played that one game. I haven't heard of anything since.
Yeah. Well, he played last night because, the starters played limited.
You have Scott, who's not bad.
Yeah, but he's hit or miss.
Yeah, and McConnell is more of a defensive. He's gonna, get under the rim for you. He doesn't like to take that shot a lot, though.
No, but the problem is if the Sixers get in any kind of foul trouble, that's where our problems are going to come in. And we
can go after some good free agents. I don't think Harris will walk, but I hope that we can at least keep one of them to stay a really good team. But I think. Go ahead.
The power rankings right now as we head into the playoffs get the Warriors 1, the Bucks 2, the Rockets 3, the Raptors 4, the Jazz 5, Denver 6, which I don't really agree with them being way on.
I don't know how the Bucks aren't in front of the Warriors.
7, the Trailblazers, 8, the Celtics. The Sixers fell from 6th all the way down to 9th.
Wow.
And it says the same thing we just talked about. The process. It says the process seems like a distant memory. The starting 5 is talented, but they have no chemistry, and there's lack of depth on the bench. Big question mark for the conference finals. I don't know. the Celtics are good. They're hotter than the Sixers. The Sixers are lucky to still be the 3 seed.
I don't know, it's going to be interesting.
I don't see anyone beating the Raptors or the Bucks. Those are the 2 top teams, and it's going to be tough.
Please tell me how Golden State is 57-24, and they're ranked higher than the Bucks, who are 60-21. That makes no sense.
I don't know. It's because they've been to the championship so many years in a row.
I don't care. That doesn't make sense.
Chemistry, they have a good team. I mean, it's a different team when they get to the playoffs.
I'm excited for Brooklyn to be in the playoffs. That's awesome to see. I mean, it's Russell's story. It's awesome, you know.
They could easily knock somebody off.
Yeah, they could be the underdogs. It's just I think that the Sixers would probably play them. I heard, but I mean,
and that would be tough for the Sixers. It really would be because we struggled against them.
I think that we're fine. I think that we have enough talent starters that we can play well and come out there with a win. But I'm rooting for the Sixers here, and I think they'll get it done.
Well, before we end this podcast, and the NHL hockey's kicking off their playoffs tonight. Columbus is playing Tampa Bay. That should be an easy series for Tampa Bay. I think they're the best team in hockey right now. Pittsburgh against the Islanders. Dallas against Nashville. That's going to be interesting because Nashville's good, but Dallas has by far the best 2 goalies in hockey. Let's see. The Knights play San Jose, and then the Blues kick off against Winnipeg. So it's a good time of the year. We got the hockey playoffs going on. We got baseball. Basketball is getting ready to kick off again. And then pretty soon, before you know it, the NFL draft.
I'm excited for the NFL draft. That's under 10 days?
Yeah. I am too, especially now that Dallas finally got DeMarcus Lawrence signed. That defensive line is looking pretty good. There's no real need for any position as far as the draft goes. Maybe a safety.
Tight end, probably.
But, tight end. They brought the GOAT back.
God.
So
Okay, yeah, let's go.
We'll see what happens there. But this was a great podcast, man. With the way things are going, and this is just for fun.
But a lot coming.
It's really starting to heat up, and hopefully doors open up for us and avenues open up and things turn around.
We enjoy it. We enjoy having a laid-back talk. We like to make you guys feel like you're just sitting here with us, just enjoying some sports talk.
And we are looking into other options as far as getting better software, possibly finding a podcast station that can carry our podcast instead of putting it on YouTube. These are avenues down the road, but bigger and better things are definitely coming our way. And it's because of you guys. You keep liking and subscribing and keep spreading the word. And if we can get those subscribes up, that'd be even better.
If you guys want to hear any updates from us, check out our Facebook page. It's Everything Goes with a Z at the end. And we also are on our Twitter with @GoesEverything. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this podcast, and we will see you guys next time.